Hello, and welcome to the latest, greatest episode of What Did I Miss? If you are into sort of clues as to what today's episode is going to be about, my hat might have given it away. Gabe and Paige joining me today. The last couple of months, we've done the TV draft, in which we drafted our top TV shows that were premiering or launching in that month. And then the rule was that if you didn't draft said show, you weren't allowed to watch it. Well, we suck at following rules as a general whole here, and so we watched all the shows we wanted to watch without any ramifications and realized that format's not working. So we're changing it up today. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about some shows that are launching in March, whether they be returning shows or series premieres. We are going to rate said shows on a three-prong, it's 2.5 really. 1 to 10 overall score. I think that's self-explanatory, what we think it will be. The second is a score of scrolling, what I like to refer to as my how many times do I go check my phone while I'm watching it. That's how you know if you're bored. And we call that the, thanks Gabe, board. Get it? B-O-R-E-D, B-O-A-R-D. Brilliant. And then we're going to do like a sort of, how does this relate to sports? Because that way the Athletic can't get mad at us.
The sports show. It's a sports show.
Sports. Hashtag sports. I feel like that's right? Because there's a lot of stuff coming up in March, and we are obviously going to talk about all of it. March Madness, no baseball, NBA playoffs, yada, yada. Not playoffs, but NBA. But first and foremost, I think we owe it to the public and ourselves to talk about the most important thing in most of our lives, and that is television.
That's
correct?
Right. Number one.
We've got less sports than most of the year. We need to fill the void with something. TV should do the job.
Agree.
Can I ask you a question, Beadle? Because I think people watching the show are asking themselves the same thing. Sure. What exactly is happening behind you right now?
I'm in my bunker.
Okay.
So a lot of people in their bunkers, they have rations, they have water, they have canned goods, they have things that can get them through a possible nuclear war situation. I have been stocking up on shoes for the last, 15 to 20 years. And this is my bunker. And we are in the red and pink corner, if you will. I thought that was a little more bright and cheery for our television preview.
Are they organized by color?
You're damn right they are, lady. What am I, some kind of monster?
Oh, okay.
They are.
That's very
and they are situated in a way so as I could maximize the space in here because you want to fit as many as you can. I made this room. I built this room. And it's been sitting here and we realized like, A, it's far more quiet and insulated, and B, it's just sitting here anyways. Why not use it? So we'll see.
It's a nice.
And if you're wondering if it smells, no, it's because I don't ever wear any of these shoes, so there's no reason for any of these shoes to smell other than delicious leather. That's it. But yeah, is it bright? Leather. Does it look cheery? Does it look like I'm in a store? Like I feel like it looks like I'm at Al Bundy.
I think it's like it's the equivalent of like I think Desus and Miro. I forgot which of the guys like sits in his sneaker closet. You're in like a high heel closet.
Yeah, it's like a bar. It's like a Barbie dream house of shoes, which is ironic. Like, but then you look at me with hats and sweats and think, that's not her house. But that's fine.
It's a nice juxtaposition.
It's a mixed message if there was one ever.
You contain multitudes.
Good, because that's probably where I'm going to do this from now on because it's comfortable in here. So, are we ready? I mean, yes, I'm really not. I'm not going to shock anyone. I'm just going to go first because I'm not going to shock anyone with my first choice. If you're familiar at all with this podcast or anything I've said in the last couple of years, you know that my very first show that I'm most anticipating, and it's coming out really, really soon, is Drive to Survive. The latest season, obviously, it's the Netflix juggernaut covering F1 and all the drama surrounding it. Why I'm more excited than usual? A, because I go into this season with everyone else having waited for it like a normal person. B, I now know what it is versus when I started binging it and had no clue what I was getting into. And C, most importantly, I think most of us who learned about it in the last year or so or 2 years, this was the first full season that I was able to actually watch every single race. So when I go back and watch this season of Drive to Survive, I'll be able to relive the things that I already know that happened and also now be able to sort of put it into context of who these people are, what the drama was, they don't like each other, yada, yada. And so for me, Drive to Survive on a scale of 1 to 10, it will be a 10, and I'm not going to do that to all the shows, I promise. It will be a 10. It will get 0 scrolls on my phone.
Wow, okay? Perfect score off the bat?
Perfect score. I'm 1,000% in. And sports related, duh. It's all sports, all the sports.
Now, what do you think about Max Verstappen not being in it?
I think Max Verstappen can do no wrong. He is the heel that every sports needs. But he's a kind of a weird heel because it depends on where you side. Some people view Lewis Hamilton as the heel. If you're a Verstappen fan, obviously. But I like that he sort of said, no more. I don't like the drama, which is the very reason I think most of us do like the show. And the number of friends that I've had that have also discovered this show in the last year or so makes it even that much more exciting. Like we went from not knowing an entire sport existed to now sitting on pins and needles waiting for the latest reality show based on said sport to launch. That's a crazy turnaround for me. I love it. Gabe,
I have problems with this. I think the classification of it as a sport is what's giving me trouble here.
Here we go.
I have watched the show. I do agree. It is unbelievably watchable. It's beautifully shot. The characters are great. It's a fun show. I like it. But sports, it's like fast-paced mechanics. It's not like sports. It's a lot of like politics. That's fun.
Sure, that's sports. Are politics not an inherent part of sports these days?
They are, but I just don't see much athleticism going on out there.
Then I would suggest, well, first of all, you will, because they do show, like, these guys are not in top shape. Like, you have to be in top shape. And they have to do weird exercises on top of the normal exercises people do because of the things that take the most brunt of what they're doing on their bodies. For example, this entire region from, like, the neck up is a whole nother thing that they have to worry about that none of us, like, I don't work out my neck. I barely work out at all. But, like, my neck is not a thing that I think about. They're all in tip-top shape. Just follow one driver on Instagram for, like, 2 weeks, and you will see how much sports goes into this whole thing. It's
but then,
legit.
like, actors are, like, everyone who has a job that requires some physical, like, an Amazon factory worker is an athlete then. Like, you got to be in shape to do your job.
So golf is not a sport. Bowling's not a sport. Baseball's not a sport. What else is not a sport?
It also takes skill. Like going that fast, like their tiny movements make a huge difference on a course like that.
A fraction of a fraction of a second.
It's like reaction time has to be crazy.
I'm all for.
Do you consider golf a sport? Yay or nay?
More of a sport than F1 racing.
Abso-freaking-lutely not. That is asinine and stupid. And now you've just derailed this entire podcast into an argument about golf versus F1. There is nothing. You point out to me, I'm not going to name a name because that's body shaming, but I can just sort of send it to you brain to brain, how that person is a bigger athlete than any driver in F1. They can't even run a mile. There's no cardio. There's no nothing. If you don't think there's a cardiovascular aspect to F1, when you're driving 200 miles per hour with people all around you and death at every single corner, and that's not something like adrenalized, that's a sport.
Yeah.
What about
John Daly's not getting in the car.
You can't just pick the one outlier of like
John Daly.
And by the way, John Daly is like an all-time great athlete. The fact that he can do what he does while ripping heaters and Bud Lights, like that's pretty
bullshit.
Incredible.
No, that's like saying every softball player in every small town in America who can chug 7 beers and crank a homer is some sort of badass athlete. No. Guess what, Chad? You're not an athlete just because Gabe thinks you are. That's not how this works. God, what is wrong with you? You know what? That's a poll question. If we ever do a poll question on the show,
here we just do it. Do it right now. Put it out there.
Poll question: who's the bigger athlete, F1 or golfers? I can't even say it without laughing. That's like saying my dad's an athlete. You want to run that argument right now with me? My dad, Bob Beadle.
But by that logic, then I'm a race car driver because I commute to work. Like, what do you? Of course, there's degrees.
You're not a race car driver. It's a skill. Sitting in traffic on the 405 for 78 minutes is not a skill.
And neither is your dad shooting a 98. I mean, it doesn't. They're not.
How dare you say my dad shot a 98?
Bob only shoots in the 70s.
What's wrong with you? He is an athlete. I'm only saying that because he listens to this podcast. God bless him.
Hey, Bob.
But I do think there's a difference between like a skill sport or a skill in a sport and then something that's like overtly physical, which maybe is the argument you're trying to make, Gabe. But like hitting a baseball is a skill. I can hit a baseball, maybe not 100 miles an hour, but
sure you can.
Like, thanks, Beads.
You might have to.
But like, okay. I'm filling in for MLB now.
Yes. Great. Yeah, but like some of those pitchers.
Yeah.
Some of the
right. But throwing the ball is a skill, right? But they can't run 2 miles. Like we're splitting hairs here. This is stupid.
Okay.
That's the poll question. And I know
athletes.
we're going to win it. I know we are. Bigger athlete, F1 drivers, or golfers. Period. Done. Put it on the board as if this was live.
And this is not what you can do, just to be clear, listener. This is not that you can hit a golf ball. It's professional people who is the better athlete.
Right.
Who are athletes.
Exactly.
What is sports?
I'm curious to see what people will say.
Because I could put a golfer in a car and there's nowhere he can't do nearly as well as one of those guys one of those guys could do on a golf course.
I didn't even want to say it that way because I thought that was such an unfair thing of me to like undermine your point. But Rory McIlroy gets the car around the track alive.
By himself on a charity lap? Sure.
Okay.
Not at 200 miles per hour with a bunch of people around him. No way.
Okay, so if I give Rory McIlroy 1 week of training with the top team, whoever.
Week of training.
Month, year, whatever you want to give.
I've been doing this since they were like 7 years old in carts.
And I'm not knocking them. This isn't me crapping on them. I'm just saying give him the same amount of training in racing as a race car driver gets in golf, and then throw him into the field and see who looks more ridiculous.
Okay, I take that bet.
Okay.
I take that bet 9 times out of 10 easily.
Right.
There's probably one exception to each of these. Wow, that was the first show.
One show down.
This is a 7-hour podcast about
And just so everyone knows, we're starting with shows that are coming back.
Yes,
and
these
then
are
we'll go to
returning
the new
shows. Okay,
Yep.
okay. Good,
All
thank
right,
goodness.
well,
okay, who's next?
I'll go next because this is very obviously a sports show. We cannot debate that any longer based on all the logic that you guys just threw at me.
Oh, here we go.
Young Rock is coming back. And we are watching it because it is about The Rock and his unbelievably awesome life that we have all enjoyed watching for 20 years. And now, in this hopefully not fictional story, The Rock will soon be running for president. So this bet gets even better than The Rock's perfect life already looks. We have comedy, we have action, we have storytelling, we have The Rock at the dead center of it, a lot of other funny comedians. I am fully in on The Rock, Young Rock Season 2. I'm giving it not all the way a 10 because, let's be honest, that's reserved for something more special. But I'm going to go ahead and say it's an 8. But to establish my credibility, this is a heavy scroller show.
Ooh,
I am not,
gotcha.
I am not locked in for 22 straight minutes on Young Rock. I think I can
so
keep
more
up
white
with the
noise
plot.
than must see.
I'm gonna get some smiles when Dwayne's on camera. I am all in, but the rest of the time I am scrolling. So I'm gonna go.
Even on camera. That's the thing. FOS, friend of show. Adam Ray is a big part of the show.
There you go.
And that's the only reason I'm not about to annihilate this show. What I am gonna say. Screw The Rock. I am over The Rock.
What the hell is happening in this show?
No, but I don't care. Like I just
Overload?
don't care at all. Like how many plugs for tequila are in this show and how many times are we going to learn about the origin of cheat Sundays? I don't care about cheat Sundays. You want to know why? Because it's cheat day every day in my fat world. And I don't want to sit here and listen to how he eats French toast on Sunday. I don't care. I'm done with The Rock. But Adam Ray, love you, mean it forever. And for you, I might watch one episode. I'll give you one episode of my time, and only because of Adam. That's it.
Okay. Adam is a bonus. I was giving it an 8 even without knowing about Adam's involvement. I'm up to a 9 now, but I'm going to scroll. I'm going to scroll like probably 6 or so times. I think I'm net. I'm a 3 after we do the board adjustment. Okay. I'm a 3 on Young Rock.
Yeah.
Paige, are you watching the show?
No. It's a background show for me. It's like kind of soothing. I can check in and out and still follow what's happening. It's 1,000 scrolls.
All right. Fair enough.
In fact, I'll probably have 2 screens. I'll probably be working and have my phone.
Wow.
And have it on in the background. That's what it is to me. I don't quite feel the same about The Rock. I feel like he's like America's fun uncle, kind of.
No, not my fun uncle.
All right, but he's around too much. That's I could use a diet of him.
Yeah. I love The Rock when I'm a WWE fan, and I love The Rock in some movies, but I'm kind of like, it's just a lot of Rock. It's a lot of Rock in our lives right now. So, Super Bowl intros, commercials, it's a lot of Rock. That's all.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want us to miss you a little bit. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Let it breathe, Dwayne.
I could triple my amount of rock intake.
Wow. By the way, can we cut that off and have that as the
Don't mind. I don't care. Don't care. In fact, if you want to put it out of context, I'll take that too. Yep.
Wow. Jerome, I hope you're listening. Okay, mark that. I don't know what time we are on this thing. I think hour 7.
15.
But yeah, let's go on there.
And it is obviously sports because of everything you just said.
Well, kind of. But yeah. But again, they're athletes. Okay. But we already know the outcome of wrestling. So we can make that argument. And I'm not going to because I'm a wrestling person. I like wrestling. But the argument is there if we want to have it. Okay, my next one, and I've been waiting for this, like everyone else, for, I don't know, seemingly 24 years. Mm-hmm. It's the season 3 return of Atlanta. This is the Glover, Brian Tyree Henry, Lakeith Stanfield. This is the vehicle, but this time, if you remember, and the thing is, you're probably going to have to go back and watch season 2 because it's been just that long, but right when season 2 ended, Paperboy's career was about to take off, and Glover is going to be his manager, and they're like going on tour and all that good stuff. I love Brian Tyree Henry. I saw him on Broadway in a couple of things. He's awesome. And so I think from what I've read in the trailer and everything, they're basically in Europe for this entire season because they are on tour. And so you can imagine the fun that's going to come along with these guys in Europe. Trailer looks awesome. The music's been great. Like I'm just stoked. I like everyone that's in this show, and it's been way too long. So for me, an overall score of 1 to 10. Again, this is sort of the antithesis of The Rock. Like these guys kept us waiting for so long that I'm just like, oh my God, I haven't seen them in forever. Yeah, I can't wait. Versus The Rock every 5 seconds. So for me, I'm going to give it a overall prediction of what I think it's going to be. I'm going to give it an 8.5, I think. I'm going to give it a scroll on the board. I'm only going to give it like a 1. And that's only because I believe it's being on FX. I think I'm going to have commercials. And so those commercials are going to be definite scroll times. And for me on the sports side, I tried to tweak this in a way that I could make it sports related other than the title of the show and that being a great sports town, but it has nothing to do with it. I got nothing. It's just a good show. I don't care. It's no sports.
I think what's more sports than music? Same.
What?
They're on the same team. They have an away game. They have many away games in Europe.
They're definitely on an away. They're on like a rodeo road trip for like an entire season. Okay, yeah, there you go. Good spin.
Where Texas is showing.
She's back, baby. Yeah, I know, right? Oh God. So, anyways, that's Atlanta. You have anything negative to say about it?
No. I have a little bit of a blind spot. I've watched a few episodes of Atlanta, and I admit, this is probably a show I would like a lot, and I should get back into. And like Lakeith Stanfield is. I feel like maybe here's a sports tie. He seems like one of those guys who like has played in a small market and like everyone knows he's awesome and he just needs to end up like on a big stage. He's good in everything he's in, but I don't think most people could put the name and the face together. And
they can, surely by now. No?
I don't know.
I don't know that he's nationally recognized. I think it's I agree with Gabe. I think it's a little bit of like, oh, I recognize him. Like, oh, he's in that. Like, I don't know that he's name brand yet.
I don't think he's had his like Ja Morant moment where we're like, oh my God, this guy.
Mm-hmm. And you're right. I forget sometimes that I know an inordinate amount of just useless information about like entertainment. Sometimes I forget that. Because for me, I'm like, that he is a household name. But you're right. Maybe not. Maybe, I don't know. I just think I think the whole cast is perfect. Everyone on that cast is uber talented. So I'm all in.
Yeah.
All in, baby. Oh, no one's negative. Okay, good.
I'm gonna assume that I would give it an 8 or a 9, and probably not many scrolls. I feel like that's a couple scrollers at worst. So where would we net out there? About a 6 for me. I'm excited.
Is that okay? All right.
I would give it like an 8, like 2 scrolls. So 6.
Is someone writing this down so when we come back?
Someone is. It's not me.
Okay, good. Somebody. I hope some troll somewhere in a cave is writing all this down. Okay.
No, we'll share them. We'll share them.
All right. Last one for this segment. What do we got?
Yeah, we have season 2 of Bridgerton, which I'm going to say something that I know is a very annoying trait of mine. So just know that I'm aware of it, which is that I read the books.
Oh, God.
There are books?
I read the books.
Yeah, bitch,
I love the books. Yeah, that's right. I'm a book bitch. What can I say? So I read the books. I love the books. But that's all to say that season 1 of Bridgerton, just for those who didn't read the books, like we only got through barely the first book of it. So there's so much good storyline, blah, blah. That's not why you care about this show, though. You do not care about this for the storyline. You care about this because there are just hot babes in this show right and left. Unfortunately, there will not be Reggae Jean Page. Very sadly, he's not in season 2. But a lot of hotties in this show. Lot of steamy scenes. So
yeah. What do you give
That's all I have to say about that. I'm going to give it an 8, and I'm going to give it a 3 scroll. So actually, it will end up becoming lower than Atlanta. I do think sometimes it can be a little slow because there's a lot of this like slow build up for some of the sexy times. But I think the payoff is really strong. Okay, I just sound so horny for the show, which is not wrong, but it's a good show.
No, look, Bridgerton, I was a little late to the party, and there was obviously the one very just crucial episode in season 1 that was, I describe it as soft porn for, I would say a lot of women probably really enjoyed it. But a lot of people in
very
general.
Very female gazy.
Yeah, it's soft porn for people who are not comfortable like going to Pornhub is basically what it is. Like if you're like a mom and you're like, oh, porn, I don't watch porn, but then you get like you're all about Bridgerton. Well, I hate to break it to you, you kind of like porn. You just like a different version of it than everyone else. It's beautiful people, beautiful backgrounds. Just really, those times were sort of like sexy and repressed, but then you find out everyone was actually kind of freaky behind closed doors. They just acted proper. I'm gonna watch because this season 1 was such a huge show. Like I'm kind of curious to see how they do season 2 with the focus on I think one of the brothers, right? Like we're gonna focus on him now.
Yes. Yep.
I'm in.
Anthony Bridgerton. Love story.
Anthony Bridgerton.
Gabe, you excited to watch this with your wife?
No, all the way out. This is a side piece show. I feel like you said it. I mean, if you're into it for the reasons it seems like people are into it, you can get the real thing on the same device, man. It's so easy.
But that's raunchy. They want love.
With the storyline.
Yeah, we want love and flowers.
Romance.
Those sites have storylines too if you want. You can invent your own story.
It's true.
You don't. This is ridiculous to think that it's like some sort of a substitute for that. And it's not funny or I'm out. And there's no sports tie. Don't even try.
Oh my gosh, wait, sorry. The sports tie is that love is a game.
Oh, God.
Wow. Wait, don't they hunt? I believe they hunt in the show.
Yeah, there's I would say light sports.
Some people
outdoor
think that's
sports.
Yeah,
hunting
maybe
is
cricket
not
or no,
a sport.
Croquet. Hey, some people think it is. I don't.
Hobby? It's a sporting hobby.
It's a sporting hobby.
Hunting is a sport, everyone, as a hobby, but golf is not.
Hobby. Don't add us, but hunting is a sport.
Look, all I'm saying is you buy hunting gear at a sporting goods store. It's in the words.
Okay,
I didn't make up these rules, Gabe. It's not my world. I'm just living in it.
And you buy golf clubs at AutoZone. So,
I mean, if AutoZone was smart, they get in on it. My God, I can't believe we had that much to say on 4 shows. We're taking a quick break. When we come back, I believe we're doing the newbie shows.
Mm-hmm.
Newbies. Right. I'm excited. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I think we've done a decent job in covering the returning shows that we're most excited to see in the month of March, but that leaves a lot of room for the new stuff, the new things that we've got, and we've seen a few of the trailers, and I'm sure you have as well if you like television as much as we do. So we're going to start off. Gabe, why don't you kick off on the first show?
Oh, it's my honor. Listen, this is not a hard sell to you guys on any level. This is 100% a sports show made by arguably the best filmmaker alive right now, also a great TV show maker, a terrific cast, a controversial topic. I am very excited to give a 9 out of 10 and a no scroll rating in the board category to Winning Time: Rise of the Lakers Dynasty by Adam McKay.
Okay.
Fully in.
Okay. I'm in on that. I don't have anything negative to say. Obviously, the sports connection is there.
Yep.
No scrolls?
Wow. No scrolls. Can't scroll. When Adam McKay makes something, it's done with great intent. There's no scenes wasted. And by the way, if you think Adam McKay, wasn't that the Will Ferrell guy? Didn't he make Anchorman and some other silly movies? Mm-hmm. Yes, but he's also probably made like 3 or 4 of the like biggest, most heady, complicated movies of the last decade, all of which have been great and entertaining. And
he directs pilots.
Yeah, executive producer of Succession with Farrell as well, which is obviously a.
But has also directed Eastbound and Down episodes,
which is insane.
Yes.
This is a controversial pick.
Why?
Right, Paige? Or what were you going to say? This is the show that broke up
what I was gonna say.
Love affair between McKay and Farrell.
Ended their bestie friendship.
Yeah, detail that for me. I don't know about that.
The story behind it is what now, Paige? It's something about John C. Reilly of all people. Oh.
Yes, this is such a bummer. So John C. Reilly plays Jerry Buss.
Perfect.
Originally, so McKay is directing the pilot. Originally, they had cast Michael Shannon in the Jerry Buss role. At the last minute, Michael Shannon had to drop out. And then McKay called Reilly, and Farrell found out about that, and McKay had not given him a heads up that he was calling Reilly or had reached out to him, even though apparently Farrell had told someone or mentioned him at some point that he was interested in being in the show. And so Will, I guess, felt very slighted by that, and they don't speak anymore.
Yeah. That's the rumor on the street, is like that Will Ferrell's not returning emails, and like McKay wants to make up, but we'll see.
Like publicly, McKay has said, like, yeah, I fucked up. Like, I should have done this by the book. That was bad on my part. Like, I think so highly of him, whatever. You have to think there's probably something else that had been brewing or happening or going on. It just seems very, I mean, we love a petty bitch, but like, this seems very petty to end like an entire decades-long business partnership and friendship. So
right, like that's the thing. Like I was trying to think, like if that was a situation, that would never make me that angry. There has to be more. I do think they'll make up. They have to, because the three of those people together have done some of the most entertaining, funny, dumb stuff that we all still quote to this day. Step Brothers, obviously. Like, come on, John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell, in my mind, live together in a house. Like that's how I want them to be.
As far as I know. Yeah.
So but I'm with you. I'm. Of all the new shows, this might be one or top two of the ones I'm most excited about, just because we know the subject matter, but I think the Adam McKay spin on it is going to make it that much better. And it's HBO, right? Like,
yeah,
it's HBO. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's HBO.
I'm excited to see Quincy Isaiah, who's playing Magic. He's gotten a lot of good buzz, so I'm excited to see how that goes for him. And then there's a bunch of other casts that I didn't realize were in it that I'm excited about. Jason Segel's in it. Adrian Brody is in it, playing Pat Riley, which is fascinating.
That's insane.
It's so sportsy. It's like just the perfect mix of sports entertainment stuff.
Yeah, it's like a 20 on the sports scale of this whole thing that we're doing right now. So yeah, good call, Gabe. One I will not mock.
People don't know this, but Adam McKay is like a legit basketball fan. And he did a whole podcast about basketball players who have died during their careers. Death at the Wing, I think it's called. It's great.
Damn.
Yeah, and the book, I think it's based on a book by Jeff Pearlman, right? So this is like,
oh, okay.
I think it's like basically like a super sportsy show.
I'm in. I'm 100, and it's gonna have the HBO high budget sweet feel, which is gonna it's 1,000% excited about that. All right, what else? What's next?
I think you have one, Beadle.
Oh, it's me? All right. Yes, you're right. No, it's my bad. So there are a few animated newbies that are coming out. This one has a bit of there's a spin. It's a spin-off of The Boys. So if you're not familiar with The Boys, it is the superhero, anti-hero, sarcastic take on all things that we consume that are superhero related. Homelander being the main guy, who's just a piece of poop, but a guy that you just want to keep watching because he's everything a superhero probably is, but is not allowed to show us. So this is the spinoff. It's The Boys Presents Diabolical. It's an animated series. It has, I believe, Homelander might be one of the few crossovers into the animated version, but the animated version has Simon Pegg. I'm totally blanking out now on it. It's Giancarlo Esposito. Like, the list is insane of the people that are doing voices for this show. And if it's anything even remotely close to The Boys, it will be entertaining. It'll be quick-witted. It will be fun to watch. I also think doing an animated spinoff while you're still a pretty hot show is a brilliant way to sort of keep the thing going instead of just another spinoff. That's sometimes I think they inundate the market with too many of the same. I love this idea. So I'm in. It's weird to be excited about animated again, but I am. I'm very excited about it. Oh, sorry. 1 to 10. I'm like, oh, duh. Okay, so 1 to 10 on this one. I'm going to give it only because I don't know yet. So I'm going to give it a 7, which is still high for me. On the scroll-o-meter, the board, I'm going to give it a 4. Yeah, I think that's fair. And as far as sports go, I mean, can we argue that superheroes are sporty? Probably. They can fly. That's sporty.
Yeah. Sure, we can. We do whatever you want.
This show we can. It doesn't bother anyone to say stuff like that.
Yep. All right, then good. On the sports meter, it's there, kind of.
Real heroes are
okay, sorry. What? Like, oh my goodness. But it's not. Yeah, I'm just okay. Whatever. Go on. Sorry.
Sorry. Hold on. Jerome in real time. Shout out to Jerome. Said that none of the boys would make the Baseball Hall of Fame.
No, he's right. The morality of these people is
great. Questionable at best.
Not great. Elizabeth Shue is in the original, and I believe Elizabeth Shue is also going to be a voice in the animated. And I think for a lot of men in my age group, that is A-okay. She's it. She was the it girl forever. Still is for a lot. Okay. I feel good about that pick. What else? I don't know why I keep doing that. It's like I'm a cowboy.
It's a good sound. Keep going.
Yeah, I think it's great for podcasts. Okay. Go on. Who's next? Who is next? Gabe, you're next, weirdo.
I'm next? Oh, my goodness.
Why don't I do one, and then Gabe will move that one down.
All right.
Fair. Does that work? Okay.
Yeah.
So I would like to take this from a narrative to a real story, which is worst roommate ever. It actually premiered already, March 1st. So perfect. Tuesday. It's on Netflix, and the synopsis is roommates with malevolent, and sometimes violent intentions turn the lives of their unsuspecting victims into real-life nightmares.
Yes!
You accurately said off air, it is basically an ID show. You're completely right. I think it's 4 parts. Oh and it basically just looks at, it's got a sprinkle of murder and a sprinkle of like people behaving badly. And personally, I love that shit. I like being nosy, and I like hearing about people's bad decisions, because there were you knew when you let this person move in with you or whatever that they had like a weird vibe. Everyone, please trust your gut on this thing. Just don't have that person move in. Don't move in with them.
But they're sometimes you're desperate,
hell, or maybe they'll kill you.
Well, yeah, that's a bad side of that, I guess. But sometimes you're desperate and you're just like, I need a roommate. I can't pay rent this month. I gotta do something.
Anyway, boom, so it's fascinating. I'm really looking forward to it. I might watch it this weekend.
That's a good one. Okay, what do you?
So I'm gonna give it a 7.5 because I have high hopes for Netflix ripping off True or ID or whatever. And then I would give it a scroll of probably 3.
Wow.
Because I do think that sometimes I lose interest in some of like the interviews and stuff. Like I want to get to like the meat of the.
Do you like the reenactments? I feel like that's sometimes
I hate the reenactments.
Okay, good.
So I will say, I'm going to give it a 7.5 because I'm optimistic. If there are extensive reenactments, like remember what was the Social show that was on Netflix last year?
Oh,
Social Dilemma. I had to stop watching that because the reenactments were so painful. So if there are any of those, it will become an immediate 2 for me.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
And then it's sports because roommates are basically teammates.
Oh, what is your problem, Gabe?
Anything is sports except what I say is sports. Everything else is sports.
Roommates are basically teammates. Do you want James Harden to be your roommate?
Actually, I would love for James Harden to be my roommate. Holy crap. I'd never sleep again. Like, I'm not sleeping now, but it's because of a dog. At least with James Harden around, I'd be like, holy crap, you'll never believe what he did yesterday. Yeah. You know he's messy, but I don't care. He probably has a chef. I could use the chef to make me food. I'm in. James Harden roommate? Yes. Check.
Great.
Okay. That's all I got.
This show, about that. This would be, if I had introduced this one, it would be the first time that the board number was significantly higher than the rating number. It would be a negative 6 for me.
Wow.
This would be a show that could be on in my house by someone else's choosing, and I would just read entire articles while it was on. There's just zero interest.
But you know what? I think you either love this genre or you don't. Like, I have ID channel in my house on a 24-hour loop. There's either Food Network or ID channel, and it's boom, 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 boom. Because I'm fascinated by what humans can do to each other, and the idea of roommate. We've all had roommates. It's super relatable. People that are watching it that currently have roommates are going to be watching it through different eyes, which is kind of crazy as well. But yeah, I'm in. I agree with Paige on this one. So Gabe, you're wrong. Is that what this podcast is about?
It's mostly that I am wrong and you guys agree.
All right, fine. I like it.
Yeah. Okay, great. Have either of you ever had a random roommate?
Yeah.
Yeah. In college.
Okay. And you had no weird experiences though.
No, weirdly enough, she ended up being the roommate that I kept for like another year or two in college, whereas the two girls I went that were in my high school with me, we ended up never speaking again after our freshman year in college. Wow. So weirdly enough, the potluck was good.
I lived with a few girls that I found on Craigslist.
Okay, so now that is a story.
Hold on. They ended up becoming some of my best friends. I've been to all their weddings. Like, they're the best.
See, you got lucky because most times you end up in a suitcase in like a bus depot. Yeah. So you're really lucky about that.
It's a slow play. It's a slow play.
Shout out to Craig. Craig brought us together.
Craigslist is also known as Murderer's Row.
Well, okay. Let me also clarify that this was in 2012.
Before humans became evil. Good call.
That's
Paige.
right. That's right. 2013. Well, 2016 is really when it took off. But
I don't miss having roommate. I'll be honest. I don't miss it. I do not miss it.
No, hell no.
No, I mean, I guess when you're in a relationship, it's kind of like a roommate, but it's different. Roommate's a different vibe.
Stresses me out.
I have so many roommates. They're just roommates.
You really do.
Everywhere in my house.
You've got little tiny roommates. They don't even contribute.
They do no dishes. They never take out garbage.
Zero rent paid.
They eat all my shit. It's the worst.
Yeah, Gabe, you're not doing it right. You're not.
You also made them, so I don't have that much sympathy for you.
That's a great point. You did make them. All right, take a break. We've got last three of newbies. I like saying newbies. We'll be right back.
Noobs.
Welcome back as we wrap things up for our March television special. The new shows, the brand new shows that we know nothing about other than the trailers we've seen. What's got us the most pumped? The last three. Gabe, kick it off.
Okay, so I will admit that the trailer I've seen too many times.
Wow.
Look, NBC, we got it. You have a streaming service. We understand.
They do? What's it called?
Yeah, it comes up every now and then. We're aware of Peacock.
Oh, that one, yes.
That said, I am here for Joe vs. Carol. Look, it's been a little time since the Tiger King spring that we all enjoyed together. Then it became cliche and hack, and we were out on it. I'm back in. There's a new show coming any day now. This is based on the podcast about them, not necessarily about the Netflix show about them.
Which I did listen to. Yeah. That's fair.
Okay. Nice job by the guys at Wondery for making that one. This could be entertaining, and since we're extending the boundaries of what sports is, I will say this is sports because, just like sports, this is a kind of thing that you watch and you tweet about. You make fun of it while you're watching it, just like a game you aren't that interested in. You just make the jokes, and that's the kind of thing it is. So it's a low score. I think it's like a hate watch, like a 4-ish, and the scroll is high. I'd say that the scroll is at least a 4. So I think we're a net 0 on this show.
Yeah, good Lord. Can't wait to watch it.
Complete waste of time. But
do we recommend it?
Do we want you to even bother?
No, but I think it's...
But isn't it what's her face?
Kate McKinnon.
Which I do love her. That is a selling point.
All right,
use that, Gabe. That's a selling point.
Okay, sorry. The one of the funniest, best actors in the world, Kate McKinnon, is the star.
Wow, that was okay. That was
She's
big.
Great.
Oh, yeah. I could easily live the rest of my days peacefully and with a smile on my face without ever hearing about these humans again. But you almost got me because when you said hate watch, I have been known to spend my time on many, many a hate watch. And so for that, I might do that. I might throw it on in the background for like an episode or two just to see what it's all about. And really because of McKinnon. But my God, I could not possibly care less about the subject matter.
All right.
No chance.
I'm completely out. Don't care, won't watch. Boom. Can't even do a background watch because I just find the whole thing irritating. I've seen all I need to see. I've heard all I need to hear about these people and the story. Right? I'm good.
I've never rooted for tigers to eat more humans in my entire life. Like, eat them all, for God's sakes. All right, so that's a scroll. That's a high scroll. Okay, what else?
Yeah, like, for me, that's like a rating of 1 in a 1,000 scroll.
Am I rating the scrolls wrong? I thought the more scrolls, the higher the score. Are we
more scrolls would mean you're not paying attention to the show.
You're bored.
Right, so for me, if I give you a 10 scroll, you're complete white noise. I just have it on.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I am doing it right. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. You're good.
We got Paige.
Okay, I would like to talk about Life and Beth, which we've talked about Amy Schumer before. I know you're not necessarily a fan. looking forward to her Oscars hosting. But
yeah,
and maybe this is because it feels like I'm making this about myself, but it feels like it's close to my life, right? Like, watch how quickly I can make this about me.
Are you gonna cry?
No, I'm not gonna cry.
Sports.
Oh my God.
You like sports. It's kind of about you. It's sports.
It's
okay, boom.
Yeah, that's why it's sports is because I like it and I like sports. No, but okay, so the synopsis is it follows Beth, who after an unexpected incident starts having flashbacks to her teen self and learns how blah, blah. Actually, that's really boring. But the trailer is what really got me. Like, there's this opening scene in the beginning where she's at the doctor and they're asking her and she's like, look, I'll save you some time. I drink 30,000 drinks a week, da 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 da. And the line that got me was he says, do you have any pre-existing conditions? And she says, I'm a woman. And I was like, all right, I'm going to watch this 100%. And the cast looks great. Michael Rappaport's in it. Michael Cera plays her love interest, which I find fascinating. In my mind, he went from being like a tween, like he's 12 years old and has looked that way, maybe 15 for the last 15 years, and now has a beard and is like a man.
Look at him growing hair and whatnot.
Look at that.
Look at him all grown up. So what are you giving it? What's the scoring on this bad boy?
I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to give this an 8 because I want it to be good. And I'm going to give it a 2 scroll.
Oh, wow, an 8.
Only 2.
And a 2?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a pretty
And a lot of the, the writers who were on it are really funny. Like, I want it to be.
Okay, well, as long as they're funny writers, not just Schumer. So here's what... Just kidding. It's shots shady. No, you know what's weird? I'm going to say something that's going to surprise even myself. I used to love Amy Schumer. I think a lot of times what happens with comedians is they're really funny before they become like household names. And then something happens sometimes. And I don't know if it's like life gets too... I don't know. I'm not going to dissect that.
I've thought about this before. I think it's because you're super funny, but you're having to like pitch people on this stuff. And then people just start being like, oh, she's funny. And then it's less about the idea and more about the people buying the content attaching themselves to that person. So it's like at some point, are you like, do you know what's funny anymore?
That's what bums me out, especially because we live in a world where like I want women. I want more and more women to always just be funny. So that being said, I did watch the trailer for this, as the podcast host and homework doer that I am. And I will say the same thing. Like, I am significantly older than Paige, but I think every woman at some point, and probably every person at some point in their lives, has that thing where they're like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I should be doing this. I should be a teacher. No, I should work at a zoo. No, I should be a vet. Like, we think about it all the time. I think COVID probably inspired a lot more of that type of thinking also in the last 2 years. And so for that, I vaguely interested. Like, I actually think it looks good. And yes, the Michael Cera aspect of it all, he's such a lovable, goofy nerd that and he delivers lines the exact same in everything he's ever done. And yet it works. It works every single time, guys. And it's sporty because I think there's gardening involved.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Which involves the outdoors.
She was in a movie once with LeBron.
That's true. Yes. There you go. There's your tie-in, Gabe.
That worked for me. I didn't even need the explanation of how it sports. It's obvious from the start.
I'll watch it. I'm going to check it out. All right. Last but not least, definitely not least. If you love Marvel, then this was a no-brainer. So I don't even really need to pump it up. If you don't love Marvel, maybe this will help. Moon Knight. Oscar Isaacs, who I think most people adore. Lovely and adorable. Is it Isaac or Isaacs?
I think it's singular.
I think it's singular, right? Anyways, doesn't matter.
Babe.
He is a guy, normal dude, can't sleep, doesn't know when he's sleeping, not sleeping, what have you. Just going through some weird stuff, can't figure it out until Ethan Hawke enters the equation. And as Ethan Hawke normally does, really straightens it all out for him. And what turns out is he is the latest and greatest in the Marvel universe. He's basically a mercenary of sorts, and all of this sort of comes to fruition as time goes on. But you have a guy who's a hell of an actor. You got Ethan Hawke. You've got Marvel. For me, this is a no-brainer. I'm gonna give it a 7, just because sometimes Marvel every once in a while has one that's not like a true hit, but we'll see. The not sleeping part really spoke to me. I'm hoping that it turns out I've also been a mercenary this whole time and I'm not just tired. But I'm gonna also give it on the scroll factor. I think you could scroll a little in Marvel because it's a lot of noise, so you'll know when to look up. So I'm giving it a 5. It's kind of one of those half and halfers. And sports, we've already mentioned it. Superheroes are athletes and sports.
Yep. That's science.
saving lives is sporty, and killing bad guys is also a sport. I think that goes.
Fighting is sports.
Can I ask a question? We have some notes that we use for this show. There's usually nothing really scripted, but some research we do. I don't know who put this note in.
Oh no.
Oscar Isaac is hot.
That would be Paige.
The note. What?
Well, that's not wrong. I mean, that's fair, right, Paige?
I stand by that. It was me. I was doing this last night. I was really tired.
Oscar Isaac is hot?
He's like sensitive,
Are you kidding?
quiet hot. Are you serial right now?
I'm honestly asking if that's a belief that women have.
He's got those eyes.
Unilaterally, yes.
We're big fans of eyes over on the female side of this game.
Yeah, I got it, but you can't even see his eyes. He's so mysterious and dark. Is Michael Shannon hot?
No, but he's memorable.
Not for me.
Which sometimes is like a thing, you know. He's very broody and scary and intimidating.
Right. That's not.
You can't see his eyes.
Oscar Isaac.
What? Of course you could see his eyes.
Are you thinking of the right person?
I'm looking at him. I'm not saying he's not good looking. I just didn't know hot was the word that people would use for him.
All right.
I didn't know.
Would. Google it right now. Google hot after that and see what happens. I guarantee you something.
Oscar Isaac.
Ooh, his real name is Oscar Isaac Hernandez Estrada. Man, I didn't know any of that. Learned a bunch of stuff just now.
Not much changed when I put hot in, except I found him shirtless. What? This doesn't look like him. Boy, this took me to a weird place. Okay, I'm glad to hear that he's hot. That's nice for him.
He's like not hot like a Hemsworth. Like there are levels to this stuff. There's different versions of what we consider like sexy or broody or like sort of the quiet one that has a way with words.
Mysterious, maybe.
That mysterious is a great one. These are all things, Gabe. We're not just like, oh, he's hot. Doesn't always mean the same. We're sensitive. We're people with feelings, all right?
Let me ask you this, because it'll tie back to the last time we did this, and I'm obsessed with the show ever since. I don't actually know the guy's real name. The guy who plays Tommy Lee in Pam and Tommy. Sebastian
Stan.
Is that guy hot?
I could see people thinking so. Not my cup of tea, however. I do like him. What's his superhero guy? The guy that fought Captain America? I always forget. Dude with the arm. I like that character.
I don't know.
But
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier. Thank you, Jerome. Nerd from Canada just chimed in. I love it so much. But I could see people thinking. Here's the beauty of famous people, right? Every single, and really it goes for men because men have a different thing for women. But every single famous man that exists on the planet has at least 1 to 20 women somewhere who randomly find that person to be the sexiest person alive. That's what fame does for men. That's what money and humor also do for men. Okay? So even though you might look like a horse's patootie, somebody somewhere thinks you're the hottest dude ever for whatever reason. They saw you in a soap opera episode once and thought, my God, that guy has it. It's a beautiful thing to be famous, I'm sure.
All right. You just explained Adam Driver to me.
Fair. He's also an ex-Marine. That's hot. See, we can list a million things for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
he's quiet and he's broody.
He's an athlete. You're right.
He is an athlete. Oh my God, you guys! I don't know. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but a lot of awards were just won on this episode.
I think so.
What did I miss? Easily, and that was it. We'll be back next week. I hope we've helped you to sort of sort out. Basically, what we've told you is you need to put your family away in a room somewhere because you need at least 30 extra hours a week to watch all of this stuff because apparently it's not going to be great. Voicemails, text 631-397-0403. And by all means, if you have a hot take on golfers versus F1 drivers, please leave us a voicemail about it. There's no way Gabe's right on this one.
I welcome the challenge. Audience, join in.
Please help me help him. Gabe, Paige, my name is Michelle. We'll see you guys next week. Ta-da.
Bye.
Bye.